Hey everybody, Scott Jansen here. Welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to answer the question of how you can grow your coaching, hypnotherapy, RTT, or even NLP business by seeing less clientele. However, in order to get to that place, I firstly have to answer the question as to why your business is not growing right now and the reason why. You're experiencing ebbs and flows in your income every single month. So one month you're making a ton of money, the next month you're making none. The following month you make a little bit of money, the following month you are so far down into the red that you're starting to freak out that this is never going to work for you. Because by answering this question right here and showing you how to fix the ebbs and flows of your income, it will also help you grow your business by seeing less clientele naturally. So guys, let's dive straight into the video. You know this is for you if you're experiencing ebbs and flows in your income. You notice that your social media is not getting the attention of your market. You notice that it's an absolute struggle. It's like pulling teeth just to get any sort of paying clients. This video is going to show you how to avoid all this and start to grow your business by seeing less clientele very, very quickly. So guys, let's dive straight into the content. All right, so here we go. So in order to understand how we're actually going to grow your coaching business with actual less clients, I want to put us in the position of why most coaching businesses, therapy businesses, RTT, and even NLP businesses don't grow full stop. It's impossible to scale them. Their income has ebbs and flows, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. And it doesn't matter what these therapists and coaches try and do. It's either their business goes backwards or it remains stagnant with no growth whatsoever. So what's going on here? Well, like I said, in order to understand how we're going to grow your business with less clients, we first have to understand this. So I'm going to put us in the position of what most coaches and therapists are probably experiencing every day, every week, and especially every month, and especially over our long periods and years as coaches and therapists, is noticing the ebbs and flow of your income. So if you've noticed that some months you get income and then the following month you get none, the month after that you get a little bit more income, the month after that you get less income, the month after that you have no income whatsoever, and then out of the blue on month 6 you have the highest income month you've ever had, and then month number 7 you're back down to 0. So why does this happen? Well, if you've been a therapist or a coach for long enough, I would probably say that 100% of coaches and therapists have experienced this or are about to experience this. This is the ebbs and flows in income. And if this part is not fixed, guys, what I'm going to talk about today, it's going to be almost impossible to grow and scale your coaching business, especially when it comes to less clients. Because we as coaches and therapists have only so much time in our business, so much time in our day. And what we do with this time and where we put our focus is important, because this is going to be the difference between a business that grows very, very rapidly or one that remains stagnant or actually goes backwards. So what are ebbs and flows in the income? Well, like I said, one month you have income, the next month you don't, the following month you have some, the following month you don't. It's just this inconsistency and unpredictability in your income. Why does this happen? Okay, well, let me explain exactly why it happens and what we need to do to fix it. And guys, just by fixing this, we'll have a dramatic result on getting your business to grow pretty much naturally without having to source or onboard a whole bunch of new clients. We can actually do it with less clients, less time, but actually make more money. So how does this actually work? Well, in our 100K coaching program and also our therapy maximizer program, we stick to a rule that's called the 80-20 rule. Okay, and I'm going to tell you exactly how this works, and I'm going to show you probably what side of the 80-20 rule you're running your business on. So over to the left here, this is pretty typical. Okay, so when I speak to therapists and coaches, and even for myself when I was trying to grow my business, my time was unevenly split. Okay, it was unevenly split because I was trying to grow my business. I needed income to survive. I had to have money in my bank. I had bills to pay. I had things to do, which required me to make income. And my only logical way to make income was to charge less and see more clientele, because I was under the idea, as most therapists and coaches are, because it is logical. If I have a reasonable price, usually like a low price of like $100 or $200 per client, and I see, let's say, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 clients per month, I'll have enough income to start to grow my business and I'll be able to survive off this income. But what actually happens in reality, although that seems logical, the opposite actually happens. And the ebbs and flow of your income is all as a result of this 80-20 rule being divided in the wrong way. So what does this all mean, Scott? You're probably a little bit confused right now. Well, let me explain it. 80-20 rule looks like this. We only have 100% of our time to divide up in each day, as we can imagine. But most coaches and therapists that have that low income, just like ourselves, have to spend 80% of their time with clientele and only 20% of their time on business. Because it's that 80% of clientele sitting in front of those clients doing the work you have to do is where we get the income, so it seems. But if we're spending 80% of our time on clients, we only allow 20% of our time to grow the business, do social media, innovate, attract new clients, do strategy calls, do sales, work with clientele. And if we're only dividing 20% of that time for the actual most important part, which is the growth of the business, and that's why we're here in this video, to grow the business, we're going to stumble across those ebbs and flows in our income. So before I show you what that looks like in a quick diagram, let me explain this in a bit more detail. 80% of our time with client, because we're charging low prices and we think the only way I can get money is I have to spend that time with clientele. So let's say I'm charging $100 or $200 per client. This remains that 80% of that time is with clientele, and I only have 20% of my time to do social media, to prove my expertise, to source new clients, to do marketing across Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, to innovate my business so the systems and the machine that I'm building inside my business runs more efficiently, to attract new clients, to do strategy calls, to do confirmation calls, to actually get the sales done in order to grow my business. So if I'm spending 80% of my time with clientele, I can only allow a couple of hours per week to actually grow the business. So what do you think is going to happen? Well, let me take you back to the first screen. This is what happens. Month one, we start out in our business and we put all our time and effort into our marketing because we've got no clients yet. We're putting almost like 100% of our focus into getting clients. And with enough momentum, enough social media and showing people our expertise, what happens naturally as a result of that? We start booking clientele in. We start getting strategy calls. We start charging our clients. We start making money. And then by month two, we're getting a lot of money coming in because we're sitting in front of clientele. We have back-to-back clients. But now 80% of our time is spent with that clientele, and we can only allow 20% of our time with marketing. So what happens? The following month, we have none because we've only allowed 20% of our time on the marketing, which is actually the marketing is what gets us clients in the first place. So what do? Month three, we start to freak out. We've got no clients because we finished them all in month two. We've got no income. We start freaking out. We actually do the right thing again. All of our attention goes on our marketing. We start doing like crazy marketing. We start showing people our expertise. We start proving to people what we can do. We're doing Facebook Lives, YouTube videos, strategy calls. We're doing all of the right things to grow our business. By month four, we start getting a whole bunch of clients back to back. 80% of our time, because our prices are so low, we have to see more clients to make more money. We start seeing clientele, and what happens? Well, we've missed out on the marketing time again. So the following month, you experience no income again. You start freaking out, and this ebbs and flow continues up and down, up and down, up and down to a point where it seems like too much work, seems too hard. There's no predictability. You have highs and lows in your income, highs and lows in your motivation, highs and lows in your actual love to grow this business where it becomes too hard and you ultimately give up. This is all caused, guys, by this right here. So what we need to do and what we teach all of our students to do is to actually change the vector of this rule. To take it over here to the right-hand side where we're spending 80% of our time on our business and only 20% of our time with clientele. However, there's a caveat with this, okay? The caveat is that if you're spending only 20% of your time with clientele, your prices have to rise because you still have to support the growth of your business and bring in income to your business to grow, thrive, and scale. So I'm not going to talk about the pricing that we do for our business, guys, because I've talked about this many times before. So to make it really easy, I'm going to leave you a link in the description that'll take you right through to how to price your services correctly, how to charge for the end result and the future result that working with client, and how to charge without using hours, sessions, times. We're going to be charging on the end result, the full transformation. So I'm going to leave a video on the link below. You can go check that out because it will accompany this video as well. So what we have to do, guys, is change our vector of our 80-20 rule to this: 80% of our time on business and 20% of our time with clientele. So for this, we need to spend 80% of our time on social media, marketing, innovation, client attraction, strategy calls, and sales, which means that as a byproduct, we're going to be seeing less clients but making more money. So we teach our students, as you guys will find out in that video, go check out below, but we teach our students to be charging anywhere from $1,500 all the way up to $5,500 per client. So they only have to see maybe 4 or 5 clients per month to do 10, 20, even 30 grand per month, depending on how many they're seeing, which allows 80% of their time to grow their business rapidly. So if we go back to the first slide, 80% of our time won't allow for this to happen. Okay, so what will it look like? Well, if we're looking at this as the old way of doing 80-20, so 80% of our time is sitting with clientele, which is down here, up here, 20% of our time with marketing down here, we get those ebbs and flows. How does this work with the 80-20 rule? By swapping it to this. Well, this is what it starts to look like. I want everybody to understand what happens as a result of the marketing that you do today. Every action you take today, the marketing you do today, the YouTube videos you do today, the Facebook Lives you do today, the strategy calls that you do today, the result of those actions will not show up until later. Okay, so the things you do, the actions you take, the results of those things will not show up till later. How do I know this? Well, it's pretty crystal clear. Most of the time that when I'm working with therapists and coaches actually join my program, this is usually what they tell me. Scott, I saw the videos you did last month. Scott, I've been watching you for a couple of months. I've been watching you for a year. So over time of hearing this so many times, it made me realize that, hey, most people are not joining my program by watching just one of my videos. And sure, it happens occasionally, depending on how good you get with the content you're creating, the marketing you're doing. But I would say probably 90% of the time, everything I've done in the past, the results I get from that are showing up today. But it's the marketing I did a week ago, the marketing I did 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, all the way down to possibly over a couple of years. Those results are showing up now, okay? So what this diagram represents, if you start your marketing in month 1, the results of that marketing will show up in month number 2. Okay, the marketing you do in month number 3 will show up in month number 4, and so on and so forth. This gives us time. This allows our marketing to build up momentum for people to see us more than once, because we know one Facebook Live or one YouTube video a month is not going to be enough content and marketing to actually have people see you as an expert and have people want to reach out to you and want to work with you. You have to prove it to them time and time and time again. However, like I said, seems like we're going back and forth here, but it's really important. If all of our time is 80% of our time with clientele, when are we going to have the time to allow this momentum to show up? That's why we have to change the vector of our income and the vector of the 80-20 rule. And this is how we stop the ebbs and flow of your income. And as a result of this video, you actually start working with less clientele and making more money and putting that 80% of the right time into the right things, which is the marketing. A business doesn't grow while you're sitting in front of clientele. A business grows from the results of the marketing you did the month before. So putting the right 80% into the right time, you start to look at something like this. The marketing you do in month number 1 will show up here. But because we're only spending 20% of our time with clientele, we only have to take 20% of our time each day just to work with clientele, which is only allows for a small dip. And then 80% of our time, bang, we've now scaled our business. But the ebb of this, the ebb from the flow, the ebb of this can only reach down just slightly because it's only 20%. And, let me just move that back. Okay, we're coming up again and then down 20% and up 80%. So look at this, up 80, down 20, up 80, down 20. And now you can see that over the long period of time from this start point all the way through to the end of your career, you could say, is now on a consistent growth pattern because of this right here. 80% of our time is on the business. 20% of our time is with clientele. So instead of experience these massive ebbs and flows in your income, which we know right now, the low income part is because you didn't have enough time the month before to do enough marketing to show up the month later. We now can experience this where we only allow the ebb of that flow to dip down just slightly by 20%, and there's a rapid increase in success and income over long periods of time. Now, if you accumulate this all together, the fact is you will be working with less clientele but making more money, and you're allowing that positive momentum to build and build and build and build I look at it like, imagine like filling up a bucket of water. There's going to be a point where it slowly starts to build, slow, until it reaches the top. And then it starts to overflow over the bucket. And if you keep that hose going, it's going to be consistently overflowing. That bucket's going to be full non-stop. However, if we take that hose out for 80% of the time and only fill it for 20% of the time, it's going to take a long time for that bucket to build up. Okay. So 80% of our time has to be on the growth, has to be on the marketing, has to be on the social media. So remember, this is what we're aiming for, guys. So these spouts of inconsistency in your income, the ebbs and flows, the 1 month you have some, the 1 month you don't, is all because you're spending too much time with clientele and you're not spending enough time on the marketing. Scaling and growth comes from here, not from client work. Scaling and growth comes from here, not client work. I want to make that crystal clear. So it's one of the first things we teach our students to do. And it's one of the reasons why we have to increase our income. Like I said, there's going to be a video below to show you how to do that correctly. It's the reason why we have to increase our income, because I have only this amount of time to work with clientele. So my income has to be high. So how do I justify a higher price? I spend 80% of my time proving to my clients and potential clients why they need to pay me a higher price, why they should pay me a higher price, why I deserve and demand a higher price, because I can spend 80% of my time proving it to them. And that's really all that marketing is. Marketing is just the ability for you to prove that the product or the service you have is worth the money that you're charging, whether it be via Facebook Lives, YouTube videos, testimonials, posts, announcement, organic outreach, doing strategy calls, whatever method you're using. It's about proving to the person you're speaking to, the market, the cluster of people inside your niche, that you are worth that time. You are worth that money. It's why you demand such a high price. However, if you can only spend 20% of your time doing that, you're going to be forever experience these ebbs and flows in your income. So realistically, how do you know that you have the 80-20 rule wrong or backwards in your business? I want you to go and look at your bank balance. Go look at your income. Are you noticing this? I mean, you might not even have to look at your bank balance. You're probably feeling this every day. You get really excited 1 month because you have more money than you know what to do with. Then the following month, it's like crickets, absolutely no money coming in. And it must drive you insane trying to figure out. So if you've experienced this month after month, maybe year after year, okay, it's all because of this. Your first goal right now is to change this vector into this, to spend more time marketing, less time with clientele. However, in order to do that, like I said, you can't keep your prices the same. Otherwise, your income is forever going to be down here or even down here. It's not going to have the ability to peak and grow. So in order to capitalize on this, your prices have to increase. There is no way around it. This 80-20 rule is representative of pretty much around the entire, everything you do around the world. There's 80-20 rules in everything if you look close enough. When it comes to coaching and therapy, the 80-20 rule is also alive there as well. Your income has to increase. The demand for a higher price has to increase. Any time that you take away from this because your prices are low and you need more time with clientele just to make more money, you're leeching time from your marketing, okay? Even if it's by 5 or 10%, it may not seem like it has a big impact, but the real golden rule of thumb here is the more time you can market your business and grow it, the higher your income is going to increase as a result of that. And then you turn your income into something like this. Okay. So guys, remember the marketing you did the month before is what's going to show up today. The things you do today are not going to show up as a result until the following month. And that's just a metaphor to show you that it takes time for your marketing to get inside of your market and prove your expertise. It's not just about doing something once and then expecting rapid growth to happen. It's long periods of time with massive consistency. Okay, so guys, that's all for this video. I really wanted to answer that question because I get this question asked a lot. Scott, why do I have money some month and why do I have some money, 2 months later and in between I get absolutely nothing? This ebbs and flows of income is very consistent inside therapists and coaches. Guys, take a screenshot of this. I want you to understand this. I want you to master this. I want you to obsess over this. If this is your business model right now, it needs to become this business model right here. Now, guys, as always, if you want me to show you personally how to add the 80-20 rule into your business, which is going to result, or you'll have to, demanding of higher prices, less clientele, spending your time marketing your business wisely, you can also jump into the description, click on book a strategy call with me, and I'm going to spend 45 minutes with you on a free strategy call showing you exactly how to implement the 80-20 rule properly in your business so you can go from this current situation to this situation in record time. You need to learn how to spend 80% of your time marketing your business correctly and only 20% of your time with clientele. Then what's really cool, guys, is as you start to scale, we can even take time away from this client time 20%, get it down to like 15 or 10%, and we can automate parts of this client experience and give ourselves more time on marketing the business to a point where it seems like all you do is market your business and income comes in naturally by automation and things of that nature. But that's could be for another video for another time, but I want to show you guys what's possible. So if you want to book a strategy call, please click on the link below. I'll show you exactly how to implement this in your business today, show you how our students are doing who have literally gone from 0 to 10, 20, 30, all the way up to $50,000 per month. Even one of the testimonials that you saw at the start of this business, that's a clear representation of the 80-20 rule in her business. I want to show you how you can do that for your business today as well. So guys, that's all from me for today. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.